Good afternoon, beautiful ladies, wonderful gentlemen. Good evening, good morning. What's up with you? Well, the phones is the world, with this technology, folks, with our technology. I know that this is low, so I got to pull it close to me. My laptop is low. With this technology, we definitely know that we can be able to get information. So, that's one great thing that we're able to get some information. What information we're getting, if it's facts, whatever it is, we're getting some information. They call it fake news, real news. I don't know. But what I do know is that when I go to my phone, I see something come across my guide, my YouTube guide, and it's talking about some moon floating in the sky. Oh, I mean a balloon. But like I say, you got China playing around and creating sun, and now they got a moon, and they just so happen to be able to fly undetected all the way to good old USA. Aren't we so protected, huh, folks? Don't we have such a great country? Don't you feel so safe? How many people feel safe out there? How many of you feel protected? How many of you think this is an evasion? Or how many of you think that this is some kind of hoax? How many of you think this is the start of something major? How many of you think this is really nothing? Let's go on with our normal routine. Don't worry about it. It's nothing. Well, I remember driving 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and coming to checkpoints. Well, I ain't come to many checkpoints in my life, but the two I did come across, you know what I'm saying? You felt like you was getting invaded in your community. It felt like an invasion. And they found something in the car. He was going to get violated. Well, if your car was illegal, if you're driving illegally, if you was on their streets, their roads illegally, you're going to lose your car and everything else. You might get locked up. So you're telling me that this balloon that was able to float, and I told y'all before, and I was doing stories on this before, so it's really intimate. I asked a question to you folks. I said, how many of you seen a UFO? I was on another person's panel, and I even mentioned it. And so I mention this quite often because where we at right now, we don't know what is fake, what is real. And the reality is, no matter what it is, it's invasion. Whether it's human, whether it's our own, or whether it's something from out in the skies, if it's not coming in to help resolve our economic woes and help us grow food at a natural rate that, like I said, a natural rate that we are able to lower the prices of food almost to where we can have food for free, because that's the life that we need to be in. It's an invasion. And if it's an invasion, folks, it's important, it's imperative that we all realize that We must take it seriously. We must take it seriously. So, like I say, flying balloons could be Biden administration lost next term election for, oh, it's supposed to be for next term election. Could flying balloons be the cause of the Biden administration taking the L, a flying balloon? Peace out, Philly dog. What's up, man? Big dog, Philly OG. Peace to you. Thanks for tapping in. Like I said, we'll talk about this balloon, bro, that's flying around. Let me get my phone real quick right here. Boom. We got technology. Let me use this real quick so I can have an exact. I'm trying to figure out how far is I say Beijing. Okay, let me ask that. How far is Beijing to Montana?
The distance from Beijing to Montana is 9,305 kilometers.
So 9,305 kilometers. Okay, let me take this off the screen so we can see. Let's get it back. Okay, see that? Look at that shit. So right across, see, whoop, 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 right from boom, right by the water, whoop, or across all that water, whoop, bam, whoop, straight across that water. See that? You know what I'm saying? See that land? See that? Straight. Now, they talking about, I was doing some painting, so don't mind. See white paint, that's paint. I'm painting as we speak. So we are talking about, look at that distance, straight across. Whoop. Where was the satellites? They didn't detect it across 9,000 kilometers of water, right to Montana. Bink. See that? Bink. Let me get it back. I'm gonna pull this map up for real. It was giving me distance. Okay, I need you to understand that for it to fly across, not unless how many miles is that? Let me get the right distance. How many miles is 9,305 kilometers?
9,305 kilometers is 5,781.859 miles. To convert from kilometers to miles, divide the unit of length by approximately 1.61.
All right, for you math people. So 5,781, or we say 82 miles. 5,782 miles that it was undetected, and it get detected by some dude in Montana who just so happened to look up and be able to get a picture. A beautiful, accurate picture, 60,000 feet in the air. 60,000 feet. What type of telescope, what kind of camera he had that he got that? Matter of fact, we got to go Google that, folks. I got you. What kind of camera did he have that he was able to detect this craft at 60,000? So let me just see. What camera out there can detect, get an image 60,000 feet in the sky? It just goes straight to China. This is what they do. It went straight right there. It went right there. Chinese spy balloon. It goes right there. Okay? It goes right there for you. Now, I want to know what camera. What camera did he use? Okay? What camera did the balloon guy from who detected? Hold on, folks. I gotta get these words right because I'm doing this live. Detected, right? I'm trying to get that. Who was the camera? What I'm looking for? Give me something in the chat. Yo, I want to access Google exactly because she wants to send me to China. So what camera did he use? What's the man's name? Okay, first let me just use the man's name. So what's the man's name? Anybody know the man's name? What camera did he use? Because they said that the aircraft, they said that the airplanes, the regular airplanes don't go that high, and the military airs cannot go that high, 60,000 feet in the air. But this man's camera was able to catch this image, 60,000 feet in the sky, that our telescopes was able to detect. And I'm very frustrated. I want you to get mad, folks, because there's $10 billion that's floating in the sky. What's that dude's name? There's $10 billion that's floating in the sky called the James Webb telescope. So we got a James Webb telescope that's floating in space. We got satellites that's floating all up in the air, and we don't detect this four bus. They say it's the size of 4 coach buses. I want to know, the how high, how round, how far apart. You know what I'm saying? They just say the length of it. So you got a little floating planet, okay, in the sky that's 60,000 feet above us. And I know everybody's seen the movie Troy. You've seen the scene with the Trojan horse. You know what I'm saying? I know everybody, when they was in school, they learned about that. That's what they teach us. Okay. I'm still trying to catch the dude. Man, I'm sorry, folks. I should have had that. What's this cat name? A Missouri man. Some guy from Missouri, Montana. What's his name? Okay, let's see. We got Monica. I don't know who this person is, but this is what they got right here. Monica Perkins. But that wasn't the person who they said was the first person to detect it. I don't see their name, but this is what they said they got right now. So that was Monica Perkins, who balloon spotted, boom, boom, boom. Special 400 millimeter lens to zoom in to capture the image. So 400 millimeter lens, okay? That was Friday. Okay, that was Friday. Okay, it's confirmed. It's not no weather balloon. Oh, deeply disturbing, folks. Okay, deeply disturbing. Okay, now this is what they say in quotes. It's deeply disturbing that a Chinese spy balloon is flying over Missouri, the home of powerful military bases. But what did they say? It went off course. That sounds like you on direct, perfect target. I didn't. Who knew that? What I'm saying. The fact it's deeply disturbing that a Chinese spy balloon is flying over Missouri, the home of powerful military bases. Cahoe said in a statement on Twitter. The fact that Missourians can see surveillance object from a hostile nation from the ground is unacceptable. From a hostile nation. As for the Chinese spy balloon, the Associated Press reports the military has ruled out shooting the device, citing potential risks to civilians on the ground. But when I showed you the map of that straight across, that straightaway, it was 5,000 miles across, almost 6,000 miles across, mostly water. You tell me that they can't direct it right back the other way and then get it to fuck out? You know what I'm saying? Or what I also suggest is this. My suggestion is that we put out there that we are evacuating these states. certain areas is on full evacuation. That's what the media put out there. That's what all the press put out there in regards to a possible, military missile attack and debris, from the explosion. They need to just put that out there. Fuck it. Sorry, folks, because that is not what I'm interested in seeing floating around for a day or two. That was Friday. That image went out Friday. So how long has this been around? Can someone tell me how long that balloon has been around? Okay, Google, you can tell me. Okay, Google, I'll let Google tell me. How long has this balloon been around? Well, let's keep reading. I'm sorry, I took it away. Let's keep reading a little bit of this article. Discovery of the balloon was announced by Pentagon officials who said one of the places it was spotted was over the state of Montana, which is home of one of America's three nuclear missile silo fields at Malmstrom Air Force Base. A senior defense said the U.S. prepared fighter jets, including F-22s, to shoot down the balloon if ordered. Have they sent the balloon? They said that their craft can't even go up that high. So you tell me that the Chinese manufacturer of that balloon didn't know that our military craft can't reach that high, so that's why it went that high. Not just that it went like 30, 40,000, it went 60,000 to make sure. You tell me, and to know that it would look really undetected, it would really look like a moon. I told you the only reason why I was able to see what I saw in the sky. Okay, the only reason why I saw what I saw in the sky is because I was tired. I was doing a major scraping of a mansion in Little Neck, Long Island. We was doing mad work, scraping and painting. And I was like, yo, let me go outside. I'm tired. And I'm talking on the phone. And I'm looking up on someone's car. And I'm looking up in the beautiful blue sky. And I saw objects. And I saw one. Then I saw another. I ran and got my people. Like, yo, look up here and see if I'm bugging the fuck out. And then I saw another one, another one. They all came into all like a north, south, east, west type position. And it was like right over us. Like, yo, do you see this shit? And we saw it. So what I'm saying to you is that we looked up, we saw. So I can dig that dude looked up and saw some shit. So I'm trying to really get you to understand that right, that was that, and that was like, let's say about 2007. That was around 2007. 15 years ago, easy. Okay, 15 years ago, easy. No problem. Easily 15 years ago. So for this has been going on for quite some time. You understand what I'm saying? How long has this been going on? That's the real question. Let's go and keep reading. My question is, how long have they been able to do this? So they want to study. They don't want to shoot that shit down because they want to study it. They about to really do some next shit. We about to see Star Wars. So, folks, I got something lined up. Hopefully, it can work. You know me, I'm not good with this. I just try to do the regular thing, the regular way. So, get me out of here. Ain't about me. Regular old day. Like I said, I'm out here painting. Anything could have happened. Like what do it really take for us to wake up to realize that war is inevitable? War is inevitable. And it's funny because even as I'm looking at this, it's messages all throughout here.
Thanks for the ride. Okay.
How many people remember this movie?
Are you working or what? Yeah, I'll be at the station. So you can have to drive home. All right, just stay. After that, man, we're on double time. Trip.
I'm gonna do the whole shit. Who cares?
Take it down. Come on, bud. You lost football game once yourself. What?
The whole thing.
I do. I think you're lying.
I ain't gonna skim through. You know why?
I like this.
Because it makes no sense. Because it's just a regular day that is going to just pop off, and we ain't gonna never be ready. We gotta see how regular individuals who use their talents.
Would always begin with the army spread out in a semicircle. I would say about the size of Rhode Island. Then they would ride forward, driving everything before them. Beasts, men, even bugs. Men driving.
Okay, so we see Tibet, Afghanistan, Turkey, Kara, whatever that is, and all these other land space. I gotta go back so I can see what it said because I can't see or pronounce it. So Arab, matter of fact, let me go back so I can see it because the screen I have it on I can't see. So let me go back to the screen. Arabian Sea. Understand all this land space that this black man is teaching in the class of white kids. That's the uniqueness right now. Okay, that's the uniqueness. This movie was read during 1984. This opening scene of the invasion. I thought this was probably unique to show. You know, Great Wall of China. Looking at all this land right here, all this earth, all this granite all over the place. And we talk about what are we talking about? That's the whole thing. What do we talk about when we talk about land? We talk about invasions and war. But nah, we don't have to watch a movie or read a book. Sometimes we have to witness it hands-on because that's who we are. We are a nation of people that need it hands-on now. Let me continue. Hopefully you can hear it.
Circle. I would say about the size. Then they would ride forward, everything before them. Beast, men, even bugs. It goes in form a shrinking circle. And everything within that circle panicked to get out. So when the Mongols could see each other, they had worked themselves up into a pretty good frenzy. Now when this killing started, it lasts for days, weeks, even months, on until the young son of the Khan asked his father that the last creature alive be allowed to go free. Well now, my friend. Well now.
Check it out. All right. Look pretty cool though, man.
I would say they were way off course. This is very unusual.
You do something, Mr. Teasdale.
What's going on, my friend?
Colorado. Thought that was very important to show because it can just happen at any given moment. And if we are not mentally ready, and if we're not even talking about the dialogue that we need to be expressing in these times, we are doing ourselves harm. That black man actually, he died and he was doing a lecture talking about war. And he went outside to ask what's going on with, he get killed. At least he died talking, walking the talk that he taught. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure he was a strong teacher in that movie with the whole point of that scene. I'm pretty sure he was a strong teacher for that class, and the students respected him. I'm pretty sure that the behind the scenes meaning of him, the black teacher teaching social studies and history to the white students and getting killed. Remember that back then in the 80s, black person always the first one to die in the movie. You know what I'm saying? That was an opening scene of the reality of the first person to die. Oh yes, it was a black man. And you go and watch that movie. Watch that movie today. I suggest that everyone go and watch Red Dawn, 1984, Patrick Swayze, and a couple other folks up in there. And get the message, because the opening scene just shows you Tibet, China, all the little countries in 84. You know what I'm saying? What we talk about? Almost 50 years later, 40 years later, here we are. You feel me? You got a balloon looking like a moon. That was in Colorado. They talk about Montana. Let's see how far Colorado and Montana is. Okay, let's see the map. They can say a lot of this is script. It's just following the script. Let me figure this out. Okay. Map of United States states.
These pictures should match.
Okay, let's see this one. They want to do these blurry shirts. Okay. Montana. Where's Montana at? Missouri. Over the top. Okay. Montana is close to Canada too, the Canadian border. Okay, so first in Montana, and we talk about a few states off from the water, okay, off the coastline. Okay, so Montana and Colorado. There's Montana, there's Colorado. Okay, Montana is right in Canada up there, and you got Colorado. So they're looking at the mountains. Okay, what's up there in these mountain areas? What's in this mountain area? Because in the movie, they got Colorado, and out now in reality, they are in Montana. And how far is it from the water? You got Idaho, Washington, and the water. Okay. And like I said, it was spotted there. So my thing is, when you look at this Biden administration, are they handing the election over? Because I don't see him getting reelected after this one. Because this is going to be one of the biggest blunders, especially if any harm comes out of this. If any harm comes out of it, it's over. But no matter what, I don't see how this right here is not going to be in a state of emergency when it comes to the debates of the election. And folks, I really want you to understand that. How long is it still in the sky? What state is it over now? They talk about it now. They've seen it over the Carolinas. Now, when you look at that, it's like how fast is this shit moving? Because it went from Montana, which is the Canadian up by Canada, and they said in the Carolinas. So, with South Carolinas, where's the next time they said they seen it, or is that the second one? You understand what I'm saying? Coastline coming in from the waters. Is this an evasion? Is this an evasion? Let me go and see what they're saying, because we got to find out what's in the world. And thank goodness we have a little bit of technology before they destroy it. But let me find out real quick. Update on the balloon update. China balloon. I've seen a couple of people live on it just doing okay. So let's see what they talk about right now. They live right now still, right? Yep. Okay, they're still live.
The big game is here. Get in on the action.
But they want us to be caught up with stuff like this. Betting. Okay, this is what they want us to be caught up on. No, folks.
Nobody really knows what's going on except China themselves. But do you
What?
think they wanted somebody to actually see this here in the U.S.?
As I mentioned to you earlier today, that's always a possibility because we don't know the decision-making that's going on within the Chinese government. Those of us who have studied Chinese foreign policy, we do understand that there are elements within the establishment there that would like the U.S. to see it and see what the U.S.'s response would be, because then they can gauge how they can develop foreign policy further on various issues that concern the U.S.-China relationship.
All right, Dr. Lentz, thank you so much for joining us again twice today. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome, Josh. We'll talk to you again soon.
Talk to you again. All right, everyone. I do want to give you a live view here as we do continue to bring you the latest on this ongoing situation where President Biden, the White House, and the U.S. in general here considering this plan to shoot down that Chinese spy balloon over the Atlantic. The FAA has issued that ground stop at 3 different airports in North and South Carolina, there along the coast, until 2:45 p.m. Eastern time. So that is coming up here in about, I would say, 25 minutes. Not clear if that will be extended. I am keeping the FAA website up here, and I'm also going to throw out my commercial breaks for now so we can keep an eye on this, especially if you are joining us here and you're not familiar with what's going on. I do want to make sure to bring you the latest here. It actually looks like the ground stop may have been extended in some places to at least 3:30 Eastern time. I am working to confirm that. However, it does look like the FAA has listed 3:30 p.m. Eastern time as the actual time that the ground stop will now be lifted. The last update that we did have was 2:45, but again, it looks like it may have been extended there to about 3:30. If you have been watching us throughout the day, we have been covering extensively.
How many people think that we should see what it's about, or how many people think that we should take actions immediately? How many people think that we should take actions immediately? Or how many people think that we should find out a little bit more detail of, like, why is this balloon still even here?
China wanted us to see this, and that is why they chose to fly it just a little bit lower there. However, there is the possibility that it could have been a mechanical issue, but China did initially say this was going to be a weather balloon that was done by a civilian and just kind of blew off
COVID.
However,
now
that
does
not appear to be the case. And you are looking at a live image here at 2:21 on the East Coast and 11:21 on the West Coast. That does show that China spy balloon that is there live.
Why they keep calling it a spy balloon? If it's a spy balloon, you shoot it down.
And the Biden administration is considering the plan to actually shoot down that balloon that
is a spy
suspected of conducting surveillance on the U.S. military. They want to possibly
if you label it a spy balloon, why is it even still up there?
Where the remnants there can potentially be recovered. An official who did speak on the condition of remaining anonymous to discuss what is obviously a very sensitive operation said that President Biden had given the go-ahead in a brief remark Saturday in response to a reporter's question about the balloon. Biden said, quote, "We're going to take care of it." That, of course, started speculation a few hours ago that the plan had changed and this thing was going to be shot down. Again, it does appear that the FAA has extended that ground stop at those 3 airports along the Carolina coast until about 3:30 p.m. We have spoken with several experts.
Okay, folks. Like I say, Biden administration already know, like, yo, what am I to do? You better show that you have some guts. The people want to see you pull the trigger.
Get a good shot of a flying saucer. This is certainly not something
I got something for you.
I think kind of got the ball rolling.
Hold on, folks. I got something for you.
In Missouri, kind of.
What happened?
Do you think it should be shot down? A lot of it, at least, So you just said UFO.
Yeah, I got something. This what made me. Come on, man.
Or
country and was hovering over my head. But the sun was still up, and so I.
Exclusive.
About what he first thought it was when
Okay,
he saw it in the sky.
folks. Why is she like that?
A part of this major news story as well, even as it moves its way across the United States. We don't really know its
Oh yeah, you want to act up because we on y'all.
trajectory. It seems like it's going in a southeast pattern. I want to play out now this interview I did with Chase Doak to get his reaction about what he first thought it was when he saw it in the sky. And in our continuing coverage of the Chinese spy balloon, we want to speak to someone who captured it all on video, really the first person who saw, at least from the ground, and that is Montana resident there, Chase Doak. You captured this, Chase, on your cell phone. You were just looking up into the sky.
Chase Doak.
When you first saw it, what did you think it was? Honestly, I didn't have any idea, but when I first caught a glimpse of it out of the corner of my eye, I thought it was maybe a star or a planet, but the sun was still up, and so I knew that it really couldn't be. So when I locked my eyes on it, I just saw a big round disc in the sky. It honestly looked like a tiny moon. Knowing what it is now,
See what I'm saying? A tiny moon.
Because you have been kind of swept all into this story because of that video, but what do you make of it now you know what it is? I'm a little bit, disturbed that a surveillance balloon, if that is in fact what it was, made it this far into our country and was hovering over my hometown. I didn't feel threatened by it when I saw it, but it's been a shock for sure. Yeah. Did any of your friends or family see it? Have you spoken to a lot of people in your hometown? Are they all talking about this? Yeah, I actually made a point when I first spotted it to first call a friend of mine at the local newspaper where I used to work. And then I called my girlfriend and one of my good friends who has had a UFO experience of his own, and I wanted to get his reaction to it as well. And so I made sure that several people saw it, and I've heard from other people around the area who have spotted it. So you just said UFO. Did that go through your mind first, that this was a UFO? Did you think of that immediately when you saw it? I tried to rule out everything I could as soon as I could, but it was definitely something that crossed my mind. I've always been a skeptic, but I definitely needed to consider the possibility, and until it was identified, it was a UFO to me. So. Yeah. So I'm getting the sense you weren't necessarily, scared or perturbed, but you were concerned. Now, China's saying it's not being used for any surveillance, intelligence gathering purposes. They called it civilian airship. Do you buy that? I don't. I honestly don't. And whether it was a civilian airship or not, it's a non-standard aircraft that came into our airspace without any warning. And so I think whatever it was and whatever its purpose was, it needs to be retrieved and it needs to be investigated. Do you think it should be shot down? A lot of, at least, some prominent Republicans are calling for that. The Biden administration and the Defense Department have said, no, they're not going to do that. What would you want to say?
No. It's like they always want to make it like a Republican-Democrat situation. And when it comes to like guns, they always, in shooting down a war, they always want to make it seem like that's the Republican mindset. And that's why I say in this situation right here, Joe Biden can lose the election. Okay. This is the reason why I said Joe Biden can lose the election. This is far from like about Republican. This is just about like a fact. Me being no Republican, being no Democrat, being no who cares or gives a damn, until we really get our shit together to get what we need out of the hustle. Me knowing that, I'm saying to you folks this: Biden will lose if he do not take some type of force to this shit. Period. All across the board. This ain't no negotiating. If I'm driving and I'm driving in a restricted area, and me and my people's driving the car, we just want to go get drunk and high and have some sex with the shorties that we got. We in a restricted area, or maybe just me and him, and we just want to go goofball driving through some shit. We on a motorcycle, some shit, and we in a restricted area. Yo, we'd be lucky to come out there alive, okay, without getting shot. Without people, when people just going, yo, y'all shouldn't have been back there. You know, it's a military base. They said that it just so happened to go over one of the most loaded, fully loaded bases out here. Fully loaded. And you're talking about a spot. So you're going over the fully loaded one. You could have went over here. You could have flew over there. But nah, the fully loaded. And you spot and you have a spy balloon. That's what you're calling a spy balloon. So I don't care about the balloon. I don't care about the people up in the balloon because I don't know what you're about. It's just simple like that. All I know is that a lot of people's dying from COVID, and they said it came from some China shit. I've seen too much stuff with rats and these Chinese people. Yo, right about now, for anything to be floating. Yo, matter of fact, I was going to do a story on from what I've seen about the cops, especially. Let me get. Damn, I don't feel like. Let me pull it up. I don't want to lose that video because the video, I gotta get back to that video, but there's another video I wanted to pull up as well. So let me pause, keep down, pause. I go back to that video. And this video is about the Chinese cops. China police in New York City. Chinese outposts in New York City. Okay, I'm like, what the hell is this? NYPD. Oh, hold on. Look, this is an accident. Okay. Oh, that's 2 years ago. But like I said, how long has this been going on? Now this is a story I need to go check out. NYPD officer caught spying for China. I could go check this out yourselves. That's 2 years ago. Like I said, how long has this flying moons has been coming across? What's this about? Like I say, I mean, I was going to look for something else, but now I'm looking at all this shit. Look, that's what I'm saying. China's secret police have invaded American shores. That's Fox News 3 months ago. Now they know y'all playing games. This is what I was looking for. The Chinese police center in New York. That's what I was looking for. You see, global police centers raise red flags. That's what I was going to check on. Because I was going to do a story on this. And this I was going to do like 2 weeks ago. But I was like, I don't feel like talking. Yo. I ain't going to lie. I don't always want to talk. I want my money. Who want to pay me? But it can't allow this shit to go because I know I'm part of the front line. So I have to talk. Look. 4 months ago. This ain't new shit. Everybody's been talking about it. Like this is old mother effing news. I'm behind. So being that I'm way behind, I got to get with the mix. So I'm saying, oh shoot, the Trojan horse is here, folks. Matter of fact, let's go to the police. Let's go to this. How about that? We're gonna go to this right here. I'm gonna see what's up with this. NYPD police officer caught spying for China. What is this talk about? It's only 1 minute and 3 seconds, 38 seconds.
Amid rising tensions between the US and China, a New York City Police Department officer has been charged with spying on Tibetan immigrants for China. Tibet-born but US naturalized Burma Daji Angwan is accused of reporting on the activities of US-based Chinese citizens in the New York region and locating potential intelligence sources and potential threats in the expat Tibetan community. Angwan, who worked for the police department's community affairs unit, was arrested on Monday. He has been held without bail at an initial court hearing. If convicted, he might face a sentence of 55 years in prison. According to prosecutors, Ang Wang was working as a civil affairs specialist in the U.S. Army Reserve. He has been accused of being in touch with 2 officials at the Chinese consulate in New York. Apart from spying on Tibetans in the city, he has also allegedly provided the Chinese consulate access to senior New York Police Department officials through invitations to official events. According to court documents, Ang Wang wanted to get promoted within the police department so that he could bring greed to China. Documents have also revealed that he has received multiple fund transfers from the People's Republic of China. According to the federal complaint, Ang Wang has violated every oath that he took in the US, one to the country as a whole, another to the US Army, and a third to the New York Police Department.
We talk about spies all across the board, folks. We are talking about spies all across the board. How about that? So once again, when you have, and that was in September, whoa. I'm looking at 2020. September 22nd of 2020. Okay. If we was to really get in and start following the breadcrumbs, okay, you understand why that is up in the sky right now as we speak, and they are calling it off the rip a spy balloon. Why are they calling it a spy balloon? And why is it that they don't choose to shoot it down? All right, so let me go back to that other video I had playing, because that young man who
a phone call that sending that balloon over the U.S. was, quote, an irresponsible act, and that China's decision to take this action on the eve of my visit is detrimental to the substantive discussions that we're prepared to have.
Oh, yeah.
Uncensored
That's very
reactions on the
disrespectful.
Chinese internet mirrored the official government stance that the U.S. was hyping a situation. Many of those users making jokes about the balloon. Some said that since the U.S. had put restrictions on the technology that China is able to buy to weaken the Chinese tech industry, they could not control that balloon. Again, in China, they are saying this was a weather balloon that blew off course. The Pentagon saying that is not the case. Clearly, it is a surveillance balloon. Others called it the wandering balloon in a pun that refers to the newly released Chinese sci-fi film called The Wandering Earth 2. In a sign of censorship, the wandering balloon hashtag was no longer searchable by Saturday evening there in China. Still, others used it as a chance to poke fun at U.S. defenses, saying that it couldn't even defend against a balloon, and nationalist influencers leapt to use the news to mock the U.S.
Trump is going to have a field day with that, okay, folks? And that's why I say the Biden administration will lose
I am checking around
if we don't blow out that balloon.
Websites here. We're checking with the Associated Press. We're checking Twitter on several different official.
Watch, folks.
I believe it just happened there. That was it. Live, raw, and unfiltered. It appears that China spy balloon has now been shot down over the Atlantic Ocean. You are taking a live look here, live, raw, and unfiltered, as that balloon appears to be heading downward after it has
Holla
been
at your boy.
shot down.
Holla at your boy. Live with your boy. I'm looking at it like, oh, shoot. I saw the smoke coming out like, what? Like I said, oh, I told you Trump. He knew that Trump was going to murder him.
So we have been watching
Look
this
at that.
all throughout the day here on Live Now from Fox. If you have been here with us, you've been watching.
Look at that.
Honestly, at this point, just to see exactly what happens, and it appears that
Holla.
we have now gotten the answer. It looks as though
Look at smoke coming out there.
it looks as though it has been shot down there, right over the Atlantic.
Yeah.
Not sure on the exact location, but as we mentioned, it is coming down as we speak.
See that? See smoke? Holla. Told you, folks.
This is just one example of
That shit had to go.
Fox. If you do join us, you can check
Fuck
out
it.
livenowfox.com. We are
Sorry.
always on breaking news
Sorry. I'm
24/7.
sorry.
So when you do have something like
And so now folks, get ready for war.
you can watch it live on Unfiltered right here. I am going to leave this image up here as we watch it.
You're damn right.
Myrtle Beach, the Surfside Beach, South Carolina area where this is all ongoing. As Fox News Channel providing us this image, this camera that does show that Chinese spy balloon has been shot down by, I guess, the call of President Biden. You would say he had the option to either shoot it down or let it just keep going out of U.S. airspace.
No.
And it appears that he has now chosen to shoot it down.
That boosted him shit up now. Okay? But like I said, we are in war.
And what I'm doing is looking to change what it says there on the bottom.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking. Yeah, like,
Know that it does
you got
appear
to.
that China spy
Yes, change it.
balloon has now been shot down over the
Yo, he knew I was looking for. I was like, yo, what did it say at the bottom? Let's see. Right now, live. You're gonna see it change live for me. Change that shit. I hear you clicking too. Change it.
And this is, if you are just joining us, this is actually a camera that is over the Myrtle Beach area, and it is provided to us by Fox News. They have been out here, as we have, covering this around the clock.
Man. All right, folks. Live. He changed that for me. Good luck, homie. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Coordination effort going on because the goal is to actually see the U.S. able to collect whatever was in that balloon as it does come crashing down into the Atlantic.
60,000 feet. Look how long it's taking.
Took so long to get this all underway. We also had to wait, of course, for it to be over the Atlantic because the problem was concerns that it could cause a debris field, a very large one, that could impact people's property. It could cause damage, and it could also cause injuries or even deaths in some cases.
Trying not to have the light shining.
We're watching this live.
This is live, folks.
Right here
Yep.
on Live Now from Fox.
Let's
Thank you so
go.
much for choosing to spend your day with us here.
No
It is
problem, homie.
2:42 on the East Coast and 11:42
Told you,
on
let me get back.
West Coast. You are watching Live, Raw, and Unfiltered as it appears that China's spy balloon has been shot down over the Atlantic Ocean by the U.S. This has been a coordinated effort where the U.S. wants to go below it and capture whatever is inside so they can take a look at it rather than letting it sink into the ocean there. This was initially spotted over in Montana.
I knew they had this. I knew they had some type of way. I knew it. They like, yo, we gonna catch that shit. We gotta investigate, see what it is. It belongs to us now. Told you. Vegas. 64 in Cali. 73 in Miami. I gotta get to Florida. Florida. It's 73 degrees out there.
We also know that President Biden had initially thought that he could shoot down the balloon over land when he was first told about it back on Tuesday, but we later learned from Pentagon
Back on
officials
Tuesday.
against it, warning the potential risk to people on the ground did outweigh the assessment of potential Chinese intelligence gains. So, due to the concern over possible, I would say, injuries, deaths, property damage, they chose to wait until it did get over the Atlantic.
He said Tuesday.
That is what happened, and they have shot it down and will now go to collect the remnants, try to see what was inside. today as it was over Charlotte, North Carolina. We did see several planes that appeared, several aircraft that were circling around that balloon. It wasn't clear exactly what was going to happen, but we later learned that those aircraft were basically just surveying it and keeping an eye on it as it headed closer and closer. You know, early on this morning, it made its way over to Asheville, North Carolina. Then it kept going to Charlotte, North Carolina, and a short time ago flew over Myrtle Beach. I say a short time ago, but at this point, it probably has been about 2 hours since it did first make its arrival there in Myrtle Beach, and now we're watching as it appears to have been shot down. Right.
Well, they can catch that shit up the sky. Like, this is corny. Where's the X-Men when you need them? This don't look right.
And as we talk here,
conspiracy.
As we know, that FAA ground stop is, of course, still in effect until about 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. 2:45 is when that stop was initially expected to end. However, we have now learned that it's been extended to 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. They obviously, the FAA, wanted no planes to be flying in this area as this was ongoing here. But again, the U.S. has downed that Chinese balloon off the Carolina coast, and an operation now underway to recover
my laptop.
that debris. It does appear that it was a U.S. balloon that was used to bring it down. We are waiting to learn more. It's not clear, though, if the Pentagon may hold some kind of news briefing today to provide more information, or if they might send out a statement. But we are going to keep in touch here with them, and we'll keep an eye on all of that and bring you that information as we do get it. We're actually going to send it over right now to our other team. They are over in Phoenix. We have our 2 offices, one in Orlando and one in Phoenix. Our very own Andrew Kraft is standing by.
How long do it take a balloon to fall up the sky?
So I do actually want to send it over to him momentarily. For now, though, I am going to leave this up on your screen after that China spy balloon has been shot down over the Atlantic. You're watching live now from Fox.
All right, something's funny about this. That's the balloon. Hey, dial sign Icy Don 167 for new phone, huh? That's live, folks. You got it live. Let me go add this to the screen.
All right, and this is Andrew Kraft here. We are taking over for Josh Breslov there in Orlando with Phoenix here. What a few past several minutes as we have just watched the Chinese spy balloon over the coast there, over the Atlantic Ocean, off the coast of the Carolinas, just be shot down. I want to play for you the moment we kind of queued it up. Take a look at this. This isn't live. This was from mere minutes ago. And you can see kind of a poof of smoke, and then the balloon drops significantly in the air, some thousands of feet. Wait for it here. So you can kind of see it dissipate there. We're going to break down what exactly we just saw. This was mere minutes ago, and you can see the balloon kind of drop significantly. You see that aircraft flying low underneath it. Let's bring into the conversation national security expert Hal Kempfer, CEO of Global Risk Intelligence and Planning. Hal, thanks so much for being with us. You have been following us and walking us through this story ever since it broke. And just last night, you said this was a distinct possibility, and it has come to fruition. It has happened. I want to put up this tweet from Fox News White House correspondent Jackie Heinrich confirmed what we all saw. U.S. mission shoots Chinese spy balloon,
Military traffic blocked. Balloon coming straight down now. At last updated, had descended more than 20,000 feet. Your first thoughts, Hal?
Well, Andrew, as we talked about it, the balloon went, as we say, feet wet. In other words, it crossed over the coastline. It was just out in the water. Everything I could tell, I'm presuming it was shot within the 13 nautical miles of our territorial waters. So from an international law perspective, that is U.S. territory, U.S. airspace. There really isn't any question on that. The other thing, too, that they were looking at, this goes back to the history of shoot down that they were looking at, which is not new. It actually goes back a very long way to World War I and before. Is a lot of times if you take guns on balloons, whether it's a 50 caliber machine gun on a plane or a 20 millimeter or something like that, you'll end up perforating the balloon, and sometimes the little holes just don't leak as fast as you'd like. So it actually go a long way. What you saw there, that was smoke. What I'm assuming is that they had fired a missile with a proximity fuse that then, when it exploded, sent out shrapnel that literally shredded the balloon. If you saw how fast that balloon collapsed, that indicates to me that the balloon was shredded, that there was a lot of stuff that took it out. I was kind of wondering if they were going to do that. That would make a lot of sense to me. We certainly have the ability to do that. And using proximity fuses to take out things in the air goes back a very long way. That's kind of one of the basic concepts behind anti-aircraft missiles, anti-aircraft artillery. You put out a lot of artillery in an area and it hits something. So if you look at that, you see that it just literally shredded, if you will, tore up that thing, which from a recovery standpoint makes it a lot easier. Now it's going down in a fairly straight trajectory. It's not, floating out further out to sea with the wind. It's coming straight down. That allows them to figure out where they want to put their recovery assets, things at the sea, helicopters, stuff like that. Now, what we probably won't see, but what's probably going on right now, is that they've launched a bunch of helicopters. They have swimmers or divers that are literally circling around, waiting for this thing to hit. And in some ways, it would remind you of almost like the Apollo recovery thing, in terms of they're going out there, dropping in the water. But when it goes in the water, what they're going to want to do right up front is try and hook the balloon, try and keep the
whoever's out there in those waters is in a restricted area in their boat.
Electronic package, the surveillance
package,
trouble. All of that equipment that they had hanging beneath it, they want to capture that because we want to go back and forensically take it apart, see what they had, and then from that we can see what they probably collected upon, and do a lot of damage assessment on this, but also a lot of intelligence collection on what the Chinese have.
Okay, now, my question though, you see a lot of the debris. There's going to be a lot of debris kind of falling from this as well, because this is massive. You and I were talking last night.
Guess what, folks?
3 school buses.
What if inside that balloon was the worst disease of mankind?
Any indication? I haven't seen any reporting just yet of what took this down. What type
and they
of,
wanted
aircraft,
America to blow it out the sky.
Missile everyone's talking about. How this was shot down. Do we have any indications? What does your gut tell you, you think?
Well, not so much my gut, but the reporting was there was 2 F-22s that were on strip alert or standby. There was a report that was out that there was AC-130 or KC-130 air refuelers, and that a couple
what was in that balloon? What was released in the air? What was released in the air? What went in the water? What's going to drop into that water? What's about to happen? We're going to see a whole lot of dead fish and animals, birds flying.
That's indicative of a balloon that's been really torn apart extensively. If it was just a few perforations in there, the balloon would deflate, but it would stay largely intact. In this case, you see where it literally just, falls apart quickly. And you have to look at the rapidity with which it deflated, which basically just imploded. indication of an explosive device. You see that puff of smoke? That's an indication of an explosive device. That may be, by the way, I'm not a chemist, but I think that some of that puff of smoke may actually be the helium that was in the balloon at high altitude. That's kind of what we're seeing there. But you look how that thing is just literally just.
No, folks.
I mean, all of it immediately deflated in a massive, rapid loss gas, and then you see the balloon has essentially become sort of a streaming parachute
Folks.
at this point. And with the
What was released?
the velocity with which it's falling to Earth, did the package, the surveillance package, the electronics underneath, did it stay connected to the balloon, or did it disconnect? And there's a lot of thought on that, which is, well, would they have possibly set this up in such a way that if it was taken down, which they assume, if you're going to set a balloon like this across the U.S., your assumption might be that it would be taken down, could have been set up that if the balloon does get shot down, that the package might automatically detach and fall to Earth. That's something that they're probably looking at very closely. That would give them a lot of, from a potential Chinese recovery standpoint, and give them more time to do stuff.
Okay.
But also, it would also destroy it more completely than if it was connected to the balloon itself. So there's just a lot of what ifs when you look at this.
Yeah, Hal, you've kind of been honing in on the fact and this point about what will be retrieved, anything of value, any intelligence, anything that might divine what the Chinese were looking at over the continental United States, why this balloon was up there in the first place. We are approaching the top of the hour. I just want to reset for our viewers. I'm Andrew Kraft. I'm being joined right now by Hal Kempfer, who's been walking us through this story really for the latter part of this week when we found out that that balloon was spotted by a Billings, Montana resident over Montana. It's now been shot down by the U.S. military on the orders of President Biden over the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of the Carolinas. We just got this new live look there at the ground level, not in the air. They're on the beach. And so how we kind of await any debris to wash up, kind of, a collection team like you've been alluding to, if we see any pictures of that. If we also hear from anyone who watched this all unfold in person and who maybe sees some of this debris. But Hal, let's walk our viewers all back from early this morning. We got the news that the FAA was issuing complete ground stops at three pretty major airports there in the Carolinas, the Charleston Airport, Myrtle Beach Airport, and others. We'll see when those are lifted. But that was a pretty good sign that what you told me last night, that this could be shut down over the Atlantic once it gets out that far, that was going to happen. It indeed has happened.
It's interesting if you look out there, because of that narrow window, that 13 nautical miles, we actually might be able to see from the beach actually some of the air activity that's going on in really close proximity to where it went down. You see everybody out there looking out to the ocean. That's because they might be able to pick up on helicopters and all sorts of stuff. Now, with that said, there was a report that KC-130, another thing that they might do is, for example, you could have a team on board, right? And I was in a unit where, that's what we would do. You have a team on board, and you can go out there. You can do it with a helicopter. In fact, it's a lot safer to go with the helicopters. But you go out there and you can send what we call casting off the helicopter into the water. Swimmers go in, and in this case, the swimmers will go in with gear to try and hook, if you will, somehow connect the balloon, and certainly if the ISR devices or anything they can connect to flotation devices to keep it on the surface to enable a more deliberate collection effort of that material. But that has to happen very fast, because once that thing hits the ocean, it will sink.
Okay, and Hal, to your point though, how dangerous is that for those who are going to have to be tasked with collecting this from the ocean to retrieve this? You and I were talking offline. That's somewhat dangerous and hairy, is it not?
Of course it's dangerous.
Yes, that's all I can say.
Okay.
It is, and And you can bet that in the briefing that
Okay.
been talking about this. They've been going through. They don't want to be brought to the bottom either, obviously. And it could be that they have that out there. They could come with a helicopter. They could drop the swimmers. They could drop boats, which would make it a lot easier to operate for an extended period of time into the water, and they could, hook onto it and try to keep as much on the surface as possible using flotation devices. Another thing that's kind of interesting is, along with the Department of Defense military site, there is a thing that's been in the movies, the rescue swimmers that they have with the Coast Guard, and they too are stationed on the East Coast. They're very capable. They're extremely good. They're kind of used to doing things similar to this, and they might be employed in this simply because they bring a capability and skill set which is really well suited for this particular mission. And I wouldn't be surprised to see the Department of Homeland Security assisting the Department of Defense in recovering the debris.
Okay, Hal, I just want to reset. We are at the top of the hour, 1 o'clock Mountain Time, 3 o'clock Eastern. I'm Andrew Kraft. We're going to walk you through what we all just watched in the last hour. Take a look at some of this video here of the moment the Chinese spy balloon was shot down over the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of the Carolinas. This is not a live picture. This was from about 20 minutes ago, and you're going to see this spy balloon puncture momentarily. And there it is, and we have been talking about this ever now since it has happened. President Biden giving the order, presumably, and the balloon now descends thousands of feet. Remember, it was kind of flying at around 60,000 feet. Well,
it was kind of flying at around 60,000 feet, well above commercial air traffic. That did not preclude airports and the FAA in the area to not take precaution. And we want to walk you all through this story. I want to put up this tweet from Fox News correspondent Jackie Heinrich. Confirmed U.S. missile shoots Chinese spy balloon, military traffic blocked. Balloon coming straight down now, last updated, had descended more than 20,000 feet. Now, we know President Biden, I believe, was spending the Saturday at Camp David in Maryland, to which he was asked about this. Reporters were asking him about this when he was stepping into the black SUV there on the tarmac. Let's just listen to what he had to say. Very, very brief. Okay, so we'll take care of it. That's what President Biden said. That is the only thing we have heard President Biden say about the whole ordeal. Obviously, his various spokespeople have made copious statements about this on the record there at the State Department, from the White House podium, and at the Pentagon. But that was the first time President Biden has uttered vocalizing something about the balloon. He said, we'll take care of it. It has now been taken care of, but it's not over. We want to go through some more of these tweets as well. Let's just show you what the FAA was doing today as well. We're going to move from this Jackie Heinrich tweet. We also have this from the FAA. The FAA has paused departures from and arrivals to Wilmington, Myrtle Beach International, and Charleston International airports to support the Department of Defense in a national security effort. So we'll be on top of that to see when those ground stops have been lifted. Now that the balloon will soon be completely out of the air, we're not entirely sure if it has dropped back down. You can also see Jackie Heinrich posting this image of the National Airspace System status. So that is kind of where we are with this story. And then, of course, let's go ground level on the beach. A lot of people have kind of come out. Maybe not a lot of people. Several people have come out to see if they can catch a glimpse of the balloon carcass, the balloon debris, if you will, as it possibly makes its way on shore. And here, a little bit after the top of the hour, we want to bring in, yet again, national security expert, CEO of Global Risk and Intelligence Planning, Hal Kempfer, with the latest. Hal, you have been walking us through this story from the very beginning. What happens now?
Well, right now it's the full recovery effort that they're putting together. You can bet that they've already. Look, if I was to walk this back, I would say the decision to shoot this down over the water was probably made in or around the Montana phase. All right, when it was back that far. They didn't want to say anything, but what they did do within the Department of Defense is, even if the president says, "I want you to look at this,"
so
they're making plans. And in many cases, the force
pretty much
general
this
will
went
turn around
down.
and say, let's go ahead and work up a package for various different types of scenarios.
What went down was this. We watching a Harry Truman show for Joe Biden. This was a military move, military decision. And this was, and he, you know, I guess they orchestrated this shit. Like I said, it's conspiracy, whichever way you want to look on the seesaw. Go down the slide in the playground because they playing games with us. If you want to swing on the swing and let's twist this around, and you know how you be swinging around with the twisty swings. This is real playground. This right here. Is this a presidential hoax? You know, to make him get ratings for making decisions. It wasn't a technical war, but you know he shot something down out the sky. He's willing to make decisions because, like I said, this was a no-brainer. That had to go down. So was this a little hoax that they did in our face? Was this a war of the worlds? What was this that we just witnessed? How long is it going to take for this shit to hit the damn the ground, the waters? Why are we just looking at birds? Come on now. How long do it take an object to fall 60,000 feet out the sky? A day? I remember watching when the 7 astronauts fell out the sky. I was watching it live. So it hit all the way down to the water.
Has a lot of different AMRAAMs would not be used, but it has a lot of different capabilities to do this. Somewhere
what was
in there,
released?
they fired a missile early with the proximity detonation that shredded the balloon quickly, so it came down in a straight arc, so it wouldn't keep drifting out over the ocean, which very much enables the recovery effort. Now, the only thing is because it did shred the balloon, it's not going to sit on the surface for any amount of time. So when this thing goes down, they're going to be flying over. They're going to be marking exactly where it is. They're probably hoping it doesn't go into too deep of water.
Are we going to have
it
the
probably
Walking
won't
Dead?
go into too deep of water because it's still over the continental shelf. And, of course, off the East Coast, it's a rather gently sloping coastline that goes out a very long way as opposed to the West Coast where it tends to just drop off. So the ability to go in there with Navy divers and do recover this stuff is also something that's probably there. And I would not be surprised, certainly with Norfolk Naval Base, that Navy divers have been activated, sitting out there on ship. And if they're unable to hook this thing to keep it on the surface for any amount of time, that they will simply mark where it went down. And we're going to bring in a lot of different sensor systems that are used for underwater recovery, and possibly either use Navy divers to go down and get this. There's also remote devices, remotely operated vehicles.
Where's
to
all
go
that
down
people
and
with
hook
the
this
drone?
stuff and bring it up.
Yeah.
And we're going to recover this, and then begins the intelligence forensic piece, where we tear it apart,
Live
see what they could have
drone
collected on, see what they have, learn things, if you will.
streaming.
Yeah, and here at Live Now, we're awaiting any White House statement about this. We're waiting as well, Hal. Of course, Chinese
balloon
reaction. They did say, at least their foreign minister said yesterday, they regret this. They said this is a, quote, civilian airship. Of course, that's the Chinese line at the moment. Hal, I'm curious, though. So many people have caught this. They looked up into the sky.
So
they took a picture of it. They took video of it. Now there's going to be probably a pretty big throng of people on the beach waiting to see if they can, make sense of it or get a glimpse. Would the U.S. government want to talk to those people who have video of this? Would they want to look at it? Would they want to see or divine any information from people who have captured this, just everyday people like you and me? Is that something they would collect too for, information?
They might. It depends. It depends on how. If we think that we have enough that we don't need to get that,
Okay.
then that's not a big deal. You know, it's also a decision too. I'm going to tell you that when you go out there and the FBI knocks on your door and says we'd like to see the video on your
I was hoping I was going to be able to catch some debris fall up the sky.
right? What they might do is do
I was
a
hoping that
rather,
we can catch it
I
live.
would say a soft approach, which would be, hey, if you'd like to share that with us, we would appreciate whatever you have. We'd be grateful for it. We're trying to find out as much about this balloon as possible. We're also tracking some details of when it was over different places, and we'd like to see any images of this balloon that people might have. And if you did it that type of way, even if you were to go online, and they're going to see who's posting stuff, and they might try to contact them. That's possible. On the other hand, they do look at the possible ramifications of this, which is some people might really be irritated if the FBI was asking to get a hold of their video. They might have a different interpretation of what that means. So I'm not saying they're not going to do it, because I would think they're going to do something to try and do
I was trying to send you a
I
message.
would also say that from an open source intelligence collection standpoint,
So
there's a lot of things they don't
did you
really
see
need
anything?
to go out and ask them for, because they can literally see what people posted. So if they have a video of the balloon in our day and age, people will post that on Twitter, Facebook, all sorts of social media platforms. And so there is a wealth of imagery, if you will, that they can pull from that's already been posted online. And so that they'll probably exploit that first before they do anything more direct, like trying to contact those who actually have filmed it to begin with. And I think that's just, there's a little bit of common sense there, but also and I would mention too, flying over eastern Montana, and I have a lot of family from that area.
So he's standing outside his yard when they shut it down.
That would probably cause a little bit of concern as to what's going on. So they're probably sensitive to that.
Yo, Freeman, yo, what they releasing the air out there, man?
What is your opinion? Does this rise to the level or the occasion that necessitates President Biden coming out in front of the American people, explaining
What you think about this, Freeman?
behind this, explaining what the response is going to be now? Is this that big of a moment? Is what I'm kind of getting at here. Do you think we need to hear from the president?
I think he has to at this point. You can't have something this big and he just doesn't say anything about it.
That's what some Donald Trump said.
Said much, I mean, really, if you talk about the president, what he said, it was one very short phrase, which is we're taking care of it, so to speak, and that's all we've had. Now that it's down, they're going to do the recovery effort. I would imagine just because this is so high profile, we may find out some details that wouldn't be shared normally. I've been involved with stuff.
Freeman, what you think?
Privy to some recovery efforts when things go down in the water.
What's your opinion on this situation?
I can tell you that we don't normally share those with the public.
You said you was out there. Tell me, did you see anything?
Especially with intelligence systems, even if it's enemy or not enemy, but
do you think they released some Walking Dead potion in the sky?
Share what's going on with whatever they're doing. So, it's not always super secretive, but we do kind of try to keep it quiet as far as the details.
Is this some X-File shit?
A lot of our methods and certainly our sources for how we know what we know and how we did what we did.
Is things being swept underneath the rug, or is this just some political hoax?
We're very circumspect with what we release publicly, lest somebody try to start connecting the dots to figure out how we know things and how we do things, so they can plan against us in the future. So
I'm doing it live on the live, so I'm listening.
There's a certain amount of operational security that goes on with this to make sure that we don't reveal too much to the public about how we do these things. Although some of the things that I've mentioned, we're not really saying too much, since in many cases we put those capabilities on recruiting commercials for some of the armed forces to get people excited about joining, the various different services. So it's not a super secret thing that we have the ability to. There's nothing secret about the ability to jump out of airplanes with parachutes, or jump in the water out of helicopters at low altitude, or boats.
Making new product as we speak.
We put that out of there all the time as part of our regular public information campaign. But especially if
Why?
the underwater recovery portion, when they go in there and try to find the sensor system, stuff like that. Department of Defense has some amazing capabilities, and not ones that they necessarily want.
Don't y'all want to see this live land in the water?
Hal, we are getting now some more reaction. I just want to put up, though, this tweet first by Pentagon correspondent at Fox, Jennifer Griffin. She says U.S. fighter jets shot down the Chinese spy balloon over the Atlantic Ocean. So we still don't know what type yet. You're kind of indicating you think F-22 possibly. We're seeing some reporting F-16s were in the area as well. And then, of course, Hal, now we're getting reaction from congressional leaders and lawmakers on Capitol Hill. I want to just put this up. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer tweeting this out. I strongly condemn President Xi's brazen incursion into American airspace, and I commend President Biden's leadership in taking down the Chinese balloon over water to ensure safety for all Americans. Now we can collect the equipment and analyze the technology used by the CCP.
Is this some political shit?
Are getting more comments in as well. This from Republican Congressman of Texas, August Pfluger. He says the Chinese spy balloon was not a surprise to the Biden administration. They should have dealt with this the instant it crossed into our sovereign territory before it traveled across the entire United States. Unfortunately, the message sent abroad is that Biden will not protect America. Strong words there from that congressman. You have cautioned and you have told me time and time again over the last couple of days that that was not the right move to shoot this down over the continental United States. Obviously, some Republican congressmen disagree with that assessment. What do you make of that? Why was this the right move to shoot it down over water?
From a public safety perspective,
They're going to run on that.
Basically eliminates risk to people on the ground. And I'm not saying it's not the right move per se.
Okay.
It's a risk assessment they have to make. If you shoot it down over a populated area, something of that size with all the equipment on board, and then the balloon itself, you risk the chance.
Sorry, I got to interrupt, Hal. It looks like President Biden is stepping off the plane there on the tarmac. Let's listen.
When I was briefed on the balloon, I ordered the Pentagon to shoot it down on Wednesday as soon as possible. They decided, without doing damage to anyone on the ground, they decided that the best time to do that was when they got over water outside within 12-mile limit. They successfully took it down, and I want to compliment our aviators who did it, and we'll have more to report on this a little later. Thank you.
What did they say about China? What they mentioned to China?
You were saying the recommendation was from your national.
I told them to shoot it down.
On Wednesday.
On Wednesday.
But the recommendation.
They said to me, let's wait till the safest place to do it.
What does this mean for China, relation to China?
Okay, Hal, that was quite interesting there. President Biden, very candid about the decision-making process. That's what I was curious about. I wanted to know when this decision was made. He said it was made Wednesday when he first learned about it. So we went to black there. But they said, his advisors cautioned that they should, like you just literally said, wait until the risk assessment is so low.
That makes perfect sense to me. And I'm sure they were tracking it. You know, these balloons and other ISR assets, they come over, occasionally straight over U.S. airspace and stuff. And it's not always something where the White House has to make a determined decision to do something.
We still haven't seen nothing drop from the sky.
Going on right now, which I think is legitimate, which is when it was flying that far.
My thing is, what is this all about? Word.
And the Canadian government and the U.S.
Let's keep it 100.
Side by side on that. We control that airspace.
Montana's close to Canada. Like I said, why the hell it didn't get detected by Canada?
So it could have been taken down over over there, and certainly that would have been a very, very low chance that it would have caused injury or damage on the ground because it's so sparsely populated in those areas. But it did. Once it got over populated areas of the continental United States, it's a completely different risk assessment. Even when it gets down south over populated areas of southern Canada, it's a very different risk assessment. And if they had shot it down, and it's not, it's not causing any harm to the U.S., it's collecting intelligence, but if they had shot it down hypothetically, and let's say the balloon and all that stuff falls on a freeway, and was to hit a bunch of cars or a bus or something like that, and people were injured or killed, I think that would be the discussion we'd be having right now. So these are all things that they have to weigh when they do this. And there is a certain Murphy's Law aspect of this. If you shoot it down and you don't want to land anything where it's going to cause serious damage or hurt someone, Murphy's Law will kick in, and the worst possibility maybe what actually does happen. So they had to weigh that in with this. The other thing they're also looking at is they had to make a weaponeering decision on what to take this down with.
I really think there's some political
they go up there and they react to a balloon and they fire on it, usually with guns, and it perforates.
It was like a military special op training.
There's been numerous times in the past where the balloon keeps going, and it does cause some serious problems as to where it lands. And in some cases, what they
We are not to allow this to disappear.
nothing at all. So I'm sure somebody went in there and gave a brief, said, by the way, Mr. President,
thank y'all for your listening here, your support.
what happened. Yeah. And so
We out.